So for this month's background building video, I thought I would show how to create an overall stamped patterned background using black outlines and colouring the images. So I thought I would show you how I did the rainbow background on this card that I made when my CRaFTi Critters Stamps launched, and I'll probably link below the video where I talked about that whole collection, because I didn't actually film making this one. But you basically just take a small stamp and stamp it multiple times all over the background, and then use the same colours to colour in each image to create an entire background. Then I've used vellum to back behind my focal element so that it stands out a little bit more against the busy background, and I've used the same colours of Copic to colour in the unicorn and the balloons. So let's get to it. So I want to make sure I get really nice crisp impressions of my rainbow all over the background, and I'm going to use the Nuvo hybrid ink in black shadow, which works for alcohol markers or water-based markers too. So you could use water-based markers if you'd rather. And to make sure I get a nice solid impression of each of the images, I'm going to use the stamp platform so that I can stamp them multiple times. And this is the new travel size platform as well, which is really cute and dinky. Okay, so whenever I'm making my cards, I like to make A2 size cards, which is why I have my A2 stitched rectangle dies in my CRaFTi Potential range. So all I do is cut my A4 card down in half and then in half again to give me A6 pieces, and then I always work on this sort of a size when I'm making my backgrounds, so that when it comes to die cutting, an A2 size or my A2 dies are slightly narrower than an A6 piece of card, and they're shorter as well. So I'm going to use the magnets to hold my card in place. Then take my stamp and just pick a place to start. So I'm going to stamp here first. And I know I probably am going to want to stamp these a few times because although this is a really nice black ink, I do really like strong black outlines to my images. You can see it's a little bit patchy. So if you just stamp 2 or 3 times, you'll get a lovely perfect image. There we go. And then I'm simply going to pull my stamp off and then twist it around and place it down again. You could clean your stamp in between if you like, but I'm too lazy to do that, so I just use it while it's still mucky. And you just simply go around like this. You can move your magnets so you've got enough space to put your stamped images down and everything. And you just want to keep turning them to different angles. You could do the pattern more regimented if you wanted to, but I think I prefer the random look because usually when I do something regimented I end up doing one wrong and then the whole thing looks terrible. So yeah, so we just keep going like this. Put that one like that. I just like to make them sort of nestle into each other, but you can do them however you want. You can have them all up the right way if you'd rather, but I like the higgledy-piggledy-ness. So I'm going to speed up the rest of this and come back to show you the colouring. So I've finished all of the stamping, just gone all over the whole background, moving the rainbow as I went and stamping again to create my background. Then I thought I would say, top tip for cleaning off your stamp platform, any stamp cleaner like the Ultra Clean one from Hero Arts or the new Nuvo stamp cleaning solution, just spray some of that on and it will easily come off. You can just use, I mean this part, a baby wipe is usually fine to get it off, to get any ink off, but if you were using a permanent ink you probably would have to use the spray, and any ink seems to stick to the bottom piece a lot more, but when you use this spray it gets it off really easy. So I just wipe that off and then I take a piece of kitchen roll and then just dry it off a bit and then put that away. Okay, so now we're moving on to the colouring. I'm going to colour it the exact same way as I did this one. My preferred way of, even for small images like this, is to use a couple of shades of a colour to get some nice depth on your colouring really. Even though it's just for a background, I think it really makes a big difference. So I'm using cadmium red and lipstick red. I'm going to go through and do all of the red first, I think. And I want the outer arch to be red like a real rainbow. So okay, actually I think when I would be colouring this, not filming it or just filming it for one of my normal videos, I would go through and colour all of the same colour first, but I think I'm going to show you how I colour one rainbow, and then I will speed it up and colour the rest. So all I'm doing here is just adding a smidgen of the darker colour towards the clouds, and then I'm also adding in a few little dots too. I just love the look of these little dots, and it kind of, I don't know, it gives it a nice cartoony look too, which is the style that I like. So that's my red. For the orange I'm using chrome orange and cadmium orange. So you want to go in with your lighter orange colour first and colour the whole arch of the rainbow. Then you want to go in with the darker colour and use the flicking motion to flick some colour away from the two clouds, and then a few little dots just to give that nice cartoony look. Then I want to go green next, and I'm going to use chartreuse and acid green, and I think chartreuse is the lighter one, so I'll do that first. I think I'm using the same colours as I did on the original, but I can't actually remember. Doesn't really matter. I don't think that is quite the same colour, but anyway. Maybe I used grass green. Yep, I did. I used grass green. So I used chartreuse and grass green, not acid green. Okay, and then the final colour on the rainbow is, I think I used these two, Nile blue and duck blue. But anyway, I think they'll go together nicely. No, I think I did use these, look similar. And a few dots. There we go. So that's how I've coloured the rainbow. Now for the clouds, I like to use warm greys, and I'm going to go in with warm grey 1, and I'm just going to do like little half moons in a sort of swirly fashion. Not really sure how to describe it, but I just like to do that. I think I was going to use W1 and W0, but I think I might go for W2 because I think I've used a slightly darker grey. add the sort of more C shapes, I suppose they are. That looks about right. Maybe go one darker and do W3 as well. Just a smidge of it. And you can add some dots into this too. Just sort of, we're not filling in the whole cloud shape, we're just sort of doing half C shapes to fill it in. So there we have our rainbow. So now I'm going to carry on colouring the whole background in as I would if I was just colouring for a normal video. So I will come back when I've finished it and show you how I added my little extra details. Okay, so I finished all of my colouring and now on the final card you can see there's tiny little bits of shimmer on the rainbows, just a few little dots of shimmer, so I thought I would show you how I did that as well. I think I've just done it on the green and the red. So I used, these are the Sakura Stardust Jelly Roll pens. So I want the red and the green. And you can get these at CRaFTi. Oh, and you can also get Copics now at CRaFTi. So if you're a new customer, if you sign up to their newsletter, you can get an extra 20% off your order as well. So you might as well make the most of that and get some Copics, especially if you have been into your alcohol marker colouring for a while. Like I started off with 2 sets of pro markers back in like 2011, and then I won a whole set of the Spectrum Noir markers in about 2012, but decided I like pro markers better, so built on my collection of them. Then I got the Nuvo creative pens, and then for my 25th birthday last year I finally got some Copics. So if you've been colouring for a while, you might as well give them a try, especially if you're a new customer, because you can get 20% off. Anyway, yeah, so these are the Sakura Stardust Jelly Roll pens. So all I'm going to do is just like 3 dots. Just 3 little dots up each of the red bands. I think it just adds something to it. And actually, if you wanted to, you could smudge it too, rather than having it in dots. You could smudge some sparkle onto it, because these pens, because they're gel pens, they sort of stay wet for a little while, so you can actually just smudge them with your finger, which I do tend to do quite a bit, on purpose, not by accident. Well, I probably have done it by accident, but... Okay, so just 3 dots on each of the ends of the rainbow, and then I'm going to do the same with the green. I think it just adds an extra touch, makes it look different. It doesn't look like you just printed it, because some people who aren't crafters, they don't know that you've coloured something, especially when you've used alcohol markers and you haven't got any of like the scribbly lines in that they would be used to if they'd coloured before. So it just kind of makes it look a little bit different, and people might think, oh, maybe they haven't actually printed that. Okay, there we go. And then all I did after doing that was I used my double stitched rectangle die from my CRaFTi Potential range, which is the Fleur de Lis set, and I also used the oval from the Fleur de Lis set to cut out some vellum, and then I used the unicorn and the balloons also from the Sweet Treat set, which the rainbow's from, to create my focal element, and I used the sentiment from there too. And then to finish off the card, I just used a few of my CRaFTi Potential rainbow gems too, which I'm selling on eBay, so I will link them below as well. So I hope you enjoyed this month's background building video, showing you how to build a really simple background using image stamps with a black outline and then colouring in. So thanks for watching, bye!